Once you go through a relationship where you deal with verbal, emotional, psychological abuse from a narcissist, chances are, once you're out, you might have a little trouble finding your way back to dating. Today at QueenBeing.com, we're going to talk about exactly how you can deal with unwanted attention from potential suitors, as well as why it's okay that you don't date right away. And if you stay tuned till the end of the video, I will share with you some good one-liners to turn down a date gracefully. So let's get started. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. So the first thing I want to bring up to you is that you don't have to date anybody unless and until you're ready to do that. A lot of times your friends, your family members will be like, come on, just get back in the scene, it'll help you get over it. That's not true. It's a myth that getting under someone is how you get over someone. That's really not true, especially not for empaths. The fact is, the healthiest thing for you to do is to take some time off from dating and be okay with it. The other thing is, I suggest that you wait anywhere from a month to a year, at least, depending on how long the relationship was and how traumatic it was. The fact of the matter is that if you're not ready to date again, even just a quick casual date could become very traumatizing for you as you're going through the process of healing. It's okay if you don't want to date, and it's okay if you never want to date again. Don't feel pressure from your family or friends, society, or anyone else. Another important thing to think about is that a lot of times as survivors of this type of abuse, we don't even know how to say no. And we almost feel obligated or guilty if we don't want to be with someone. And we kind of try to think of easy ways to let them down and stuff like that. And if we don't let them down easily, sometimes we end up in relationships we don't want to be in. So to avoid that, I want you to take a look at this quick set of tips that I've put together for you on how to say no and ways that you can kind of avoid attention from people without dimming your light too much. All right, so take a look.
What do you do when well-meaning people offer unwanted attention when you're not ready for it yet? Or when you're getting comments or behaviors from the opposite sex or same sex that kind of annoy or disturb you? Well, behaviors like these are really hard to deal with after an abusive relationship while you're healing. Unwanted attention can include flirting and catcalls that you don't initiate. It can also include inappropriate comments, gestures, and other behaviors that just make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you're asked about your relationship status or your availability. You might also feel pressured to respond or feel really threatened by the unwanted attention. So instead of getting upset each time it happens, you can focus on ways to stop it from happening in the first place. Luckily, there are certain things you can do to reduce these behaviors toward you. So here are some strategies for you. Give them a try. First of all, ignore it. If you don't respond or react, the other person might just give up. However, in some cases, they might be a little more persistent. It's important to avoid getting angry and starting a violent scene. Ignoring the unwanted attention shows class and composure. The other person might actually think you're rude, and guess what? It's okay. Nevertheless, you don't want to fall into this trap and react to them. You can also reject the advances. So if you're ignoring the person isn't possible, then rejecting the advances is essential. You don't want the other person to think that you're enjoying the attention and inviting it. You can politely reject them without creating a scene. Communicate that you're not available and you're not interested. Be firm and be clear. It's really important that you're also consistent. If the person continues to go after you, you don't want to change your mind and accept a lunch date as a friend. You see what I mean? Tell someone else. That's another strategy for you. Depending on where the unwanted attention occurs, you might need to get others involved to help you. If you're being annoyed by a coworker, this might be sexual harassment. If talking to them doesn't work, tell your boss. You might also want to file a complaint with the Human Resources Department. Your work should be a safe space, and you shouldn't have to spend your hours reminding coworkers that you're in a relationship or that you're not ready for a relationship. If the incident happens somewhere else, you might want to contact the police. This will depend, of course, on how far the unwanted attention goes and whether or not you feel threatened. You may also want to reach out to family members or friends for support. You could also wear a wedding ring, another strategy. Just wearing a wedding ring, real or fake, can often prevent unwanted attention. At least some of it. Some people, of course, are relentless and they're going to go after you no matter what. But a lot of people are going to see a wedding ring and stop trying.
Now, I've done a few other videos on how to start dating again and how to watch for the red flags after narcissistic abuse. So I'll include links to them in the description below, and there will be some other links above to help you continue your healing journey. Now, I know as an empath, some of those things sound a little harsh, so I'm going to give you some actual lines that you can use to make this a little easier for you. So we all know it kind of hurts when somebody says no to you if you're asking them for a date. You feel like you might be rejecting someone, and as an empath, that's a little tough. So how do you deal with it? Well, start right here. The first thing you want to think about is how would you want to be treated in the same situation? You might not like it either if somebody was blatantly rude to you about going on a date or saying no to a date, right? So think about that. If somebody is kindly asking you for a date and not being rude about it, but just genuinely seems interested, you can just be really clear with them that you're not ready to date yet. So just show them the same kind of respect you would want if the situation were reversed. And definitely don't feel offended and don't talk about them to other people who may be in the same circles. That might hurt their feelings. So instead of just blatantly saying no, use an I statement. For example, I'm really sorry, but I'm just not ready to date. I just got out of a bad relationship. Or, I'm sorry, but I just don't see you that way. Or, I've really enjoyed talking with you, but I'm just not in a place in my life to be in a relationship right now. Or, I've enjoyed talking with you, but I'd really prefer to keep you as a friend. Or maybe just something as simple as, hey, you know what, I'm kind of doing my own thing right now, so I'm not really looking to date anybody. Or, I think you're great, you're so much fun, and I'm so flattered, but I'm just not ready to date. Or, I'm not looking to date anyone right now. This way you make it about yourself and not about the other person. The other thing you need to do is make it clear and make it final. Don't let them think that maybe in 2 weeks you're going to be ready to date. You might think you're being nice by saying, we could just be friends for now, but actually, you might cause them more harm than you think. Even saying something like, well, why don't we just get to know each other first, can be a little bit confusing. So just don't let the person think that there's still hope for your relationship to become a relationship. So if it's not something you're already doing with this person, don't call them, don't text them, don't Facebook them. Just keep the relationship exactly as it was before you said no, unless you're worried that that person will take it wrong, in which case you might just want to kind of slow things down a little. If you know for sure that you're not going to be into the person no matter what, don't lead them on. Now, if you think that at some point in the future you might be into that person, just be as honest with them as you can, but don't tell them your whole life story, because in case you've missed a red flag here or there, you don't want to risk having them throw it back in your face later. Now, if these are online messages you're getting from people saying, oh, hey, you're hot, let's get together, my suggestion is to just not respond at all. And if they continue to bother you with it, block them so they can't access you through social media. One last tip. If you're out with friends or you're in a public situation and someone's being really aggressive with you, just say, hey, why don't you give me your number and I'll give you a call. Then just don't call them. I know that sounds kind of hurtful, but it's an easy way to kind of smooth out of the situation, and it gives you time to get away from them. Don't give them any personal information. Don't talk about where you live to strangers, and keep yourself safe. In the meantime, if you need to date someone, just start by dating yourself. Take yourself out and treat yourself like someone you love. Learn the art of self-compassion, the art of self-love, self-care, and bottom line, know that you're worthy and that you deserve love, respect. You are lovable despite and not because of your relationship status. So love yourself because you deserve to be loved. Remember that until you're ready and comfortable with the idea of moving forward with a relationship or with even just casual dating, you don't have to do it. There's no standard, there's no recommended amount of time. Take as much time as you need. Just make sure to give yourself a minimum of 30 days if it's a short relationship, and a year if it's a long relationship, and just take some time to heal in the process. It will save you from falling into another bad relationship. Now make sure you take a look at those links I left you in the description, because they will help you catch those red flags early so that you don't get stuck with something that you're not really interested in being involved with. This brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, are you ready to start dating again? And if you're not, what is your general feeling about the situation? Do you think you might date again, or do you think you're done with dating forever? Share your thoughts, your ideas, your experiences, and all that good stuff in the comments section below. And let's have a good discussion about this. All right, that's all I've got for you right now. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon.
It's my mission to teach others what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. Take care of your body, take care of your soul, nurture the real you, and introduce him or her to the world. Be comfortable in your own skin and in your place in this world. Take your spot. Take it now. And the universe will take its cue from you. You feel me? If so, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it done together.